Hello.
Good morning, or afternoon, or whatever it is there. How are you?
Hi, Kati. I'm great. Thank you very much. Here's evening in Moscow. I told you we have about 11 hours of difference
Oh,
with you.
11 hours, so it's like evening there, huh?
Yes, yes. Kati, thank you very much for your time and for this interview. It's really pleasure for me and great to talk with you right now in Skype, and I hope I can see you personally someday. And you're very interesting, very nice, very great person. So it's very nice to see and talk with you right now.
Are you on video?
Not right now, Katya. What did you say? Just do you want or what?
Oh, I just wondered if you were. I didn't see. Yeah, I didn't think video
Okay.
right now. But yeah.
Yeah. Here I am. Yeah. Can you
Oh,
see?
there you are. Okay, I'll turn mine on too. Sometimes it. Oops. Just
Okay.
turned it off. There we go.
Oh,
Good
Katya.
morning.
Yes. Yes.
This
Great.
morning, yeah, actually, I've been sitting here for a couple hours working already. So I'm editing a book, and it's on deadline. So getting it off my desk.
Yeah, that's great. Great. Kathy, and I just want to introduce you for my subscribers and for who will listen our interview later. You are an adventure coach.
Right. Are we doing the interview right now?
Yes.
Okay. I wasn't sure what we were doing. Okay.
If you like to.
Okay. Can we? Okay. Let me back up. Okay, you're not recording right this moment,
Yes.
right? Okay. Good. So let's just see what the purpose of this is, and that way I can.
Oh, Kathy, it's just
frame of mind.
like I'm a founder of a project. It's called Successful Thinking, and
Okay.
it's for people who are passionate like me, like you, in personal development, who want to succeed in life, in business, and just this kind of inspirational interviews and articles about other successful people and how they think, how they live, and what I think you understand me. What?
Oh yeah. Okay, good. And how long? Because I have a 9 o'clock call. Will we be done by then?
Absolutely. So
Okay.
yeah, like 40 maybe minutes or 30. So just let me know when you want to finish, and that's great.
Okay. Give me 1 second. Let me grab some water. That way I get my voice going.
Yes.
Okay. And this is just a voice recording. Is that right?
Yes, Katya.
Okay. Good.
I just noticed that almost all really successful people like you are very open to talk to share their wisdom, their knowledge, their optimism, and that's great.
Yeah. I mean that. I think that's part of. Hold on. I just had somebody. Um. Okay. There was somebody that was going to call in, and I didn't want them to call. They saw me online, and I went, no! So,
Yes.
yeah, I mean, I think that's part of it. I mean, I think when we become successful, there's a responsibility to
Yes.
share what we've learned. So, let me take the dog's collar off, too,
Okay.
since we're going to record. Okay, now we're all set.
Yes, that's great. Kathy, okay, you are
Part of it.
yeah. You are an
Okay.
adventure coach. You are award-winning writer and author, associate coach at the Business Success Coach Network. And what does it mean, like an adventure coach? What is it exactly, Kathy?
Well, when I branded myself, or when I was talking to some people about branding myself, including Patty Aubrey, who's the president of Jack Canfield's company,
Mm-hmm.
what we discovered that throughout my life, I've really looked for adventure, not in a dangerous way, but there's always been something inside of me that just wanted to grow, like, okay, and accomplish things. So, and I think anyone with that mindset has to look at life as an adventure, not as something to be feared or avoided.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people, though, when they're stuck in their lives, when they're not happy, when they're, in their relationships or their work, they kind of hold on tight. They're afraid of change. And so in their outlook often is that life is scary, where if we can look at life as an adventure, like, who am I going to discover on the other side of these attempts to change, or who am I? What am I doing? So there's this sense of discovery, and that comes hand in hand with adventure.
Oh, I see. That's great. And tell us more about yourself and challenges you, like, on your way to where you are right now, on your way to success.
Oh, there's been a lot of those. I call it primary research, because whatever I've learned, I then get to share and help others move through their challenges more quickly. So there are a lot of limiting beliefs that I was raised with. I was raised in upstate New York, which was a very rural area. Even though it was just 2 hours from New York City, the mindset there was very limited. The best you could hope for was kind of grow up and be a teacher or nurse when you were a woman in the time period that I was raised, which is like in the 70s. So, and I adopted that mindset, even though there was a part of me, my soul was like wanting more. I was always intrigued with my neighbors. And the other thing that happened too was I had always wanted to be a writer.
Mm-hmm.
And my guidance counselor said, and I actually was interested in the theater as well, so he said to me, "You'll never be a writer." And he never even addressed my interest in the theater. So I had all of these people saying, you can't around me. So I got married very young, and that marriage, and I had 2 wonderful children very young. And so I'm really blessed to be able to, have children who are in their 30s who are like my friends now. I mean, even though I'm still mom, and but we can really hang out and have a good time. And I have 2 young grandbabies, and I'm young enough and vital enough to be able to, throw them around and have fun with them. 2 little boys, so we do a lot of boy things. But the first marriage was really challenging. It was, very limiting and very, it was hard. It was an abusive marriage in many ways. So I got out of that, despite being a Catholic, being raised a Catholic and being told you don't break up the family no matter what. So those were, 2 of my biggest challenges. And then overcoming those, I became a published writer in my mid-20s. And I've gone on to edit a number of books, write books and a screenplay, and having a novel. I've got a novel coming out in a few weeks. So I've had a lot of success in publishing, and I've gone on to help other people write their books and write their story. And really through all of my challenges, I looked at the power of story to limit us or to inspire us. And I've also learned that when we share our stories with people, we can help be healed ourselves.
Yes.
And also, when somebody reads our stories, or if we read somebody's story that resonates with us, we also are affected by that, and we can become empowered and also heal our own wounds through that. So those are the challenges, and those are the benefits of what I've been through.
Yes. I like words in Chinese, like opportunity and crisis have the similar writing. So you told the same. And Napoleon Hill told the same, that every opportunities has challenges, and that's what you told us. That's great. And
Yeah.
Katy,
Yeah.
and what is success for you? Because success is like a lot of different for other people. And what's your definition of success?
My definition of success
Mm-hmm.
is, for me personally, is that I'm always rising to my challenges
Mm-hmm.
and using all of my abilities and talents and skills to meet those challenges. And for me, it is about being more open, more
Mm-hmm.
available in the world to share what I've learned.
Oh.
And as long as I'm doing that, I'm successful. So specifically, I have goals. I set those goals, and like writing books. And right now, I'm getting ready to really up level my company in several different ways. And that's I'm being challenged to on a business level, like taking care of a bigger entity, which is really interesting.
Uh-huh.
That's one I call it dancing at my edge. And when we're at that edge where we're comfortable, or where we're excited and scared at the same time, where we've stepped out of our comfort zone, that's, as long as we're willing to be in that space, that's what I call success.
Mm-hmm.
Always being willing to step there and being able to dance with whatever life brings us.
Mm-hmm.
And that can be in relationship, in business, keeping our bodies healthy, all of that. That's success.
Absolutely. Be grateful and take 100% responsibility for everything.
That's right. The first
Katy,
success principle in Jack Canfield's
yes,
book.
that's
Yeah.
that's great, Katy. And what I want to tell you, that when I started like 8 years ago to study successful people, read biographies, autobiographies, Brian Tracy, Jim Rohn, Jack Canfield, Tony Robbins, and so on, so on, so on. My life became like I don't know how to say in English, like changed a lot of changes.
Right.
Yes, I've traveled in the United States couple of times, and I moved to big city, and everything, relationships improved. And what about your story? How did you start improve yourself? That because every skill, like to build successful business, to build very good relationships, it's learnable skill. And
Right.
and how did you know about this? And it's like Tony Robbins say, kanai, constant and never ending improvement, like kaizen in Japanese. And what about your story?
Well, I have always been a seeker, always wanted to improve, and it really took a spiritual path at first. So,
Mm-hmm.
meditation and doing yoga, taking care of my body, um, was really the foundation for um, my success journey. And as a writer, I was always looking to improve. So I'm a eternal student, I guess you say. But about, let's see, probably 7 years ago, I was walking around. I was not in a very happy place. I was in a second marriage. I was living in deep South Texas. I was just I was in a master's program so that I could go and teach at the university, and I was pretty exhausted. My schedule was just really crazy. I was driving 100 miles a day to go to the university, and running a fly fishing lodge at the time with my husband, who's not my husband anymore. But so I had a lot on my plate, no free time, and I was really tired. And I was just praying, God, I need something. And I was in Barnes and Noble, which is our bookstore here in
Yeah,
the States.
it's my favorite
And
one. Yeah.
yeah, and I was saying, I need some help. And I turned the corner, and there was Jack Canfield's Success Principles staring at me, and I went,
Yes.
oh, okay. So I began working with the book. So that was probably around 2006. And so I worked the principles, and it wasn't until 2010 that I stepped into one of his training rooms for the very first time. I just separated from my husband, and I was going, I'm going to invest in myself. And by that time, I was teaching at the university, and I was actually living at the university, or near campus. And I went to that one-day Success Principles workshop, and from there I went to his Breakthrough to Success and the advanced program, and into Train the Trainer.
Mm-hmm.
And through his work, I've been, exposed to a lot of other people as well. So I continually study and practice, and that's the real key, is putting it into practice.
Absolutely. Yes, that's great. And it's one of the success principles Jack and Napoleon Hill and Brian Tracy told us. It's have a mentor. And Katy, I know you're constant to improve yourself and communicate with other successful people. Who are your mentors, and how did they change your life, and why it's so important to have role models in different aspects, different areas of life?
Well, Jack is my mentor. I mean, I'm lucky. I'm very, very fortunate. I'm on his assisting team, so I get to spend a lot of time with him, and so I'm in his realm for 3 to 4 weeks out of the year. So I'm constantly refreshing my knowledge of the success principles and constantly being inspired to up-level my game.
Yes.
And really, most of the people I meet and who have become my friends in that, from the Canfield family, as I call them, are mentors of mine. I really respect them. I respect their advice and their opinions. I also have a spiritual mentor that I've worked with for 18 years. I speak with her about once a month, just to really keep myself accountable.
Mm-hmm.
I also have accountability partners that I work with in mastermind groups. So I have like a couple of mastermind groups and a couple of accountability partners. So I keep myself pretty much engaged in this practice.
Yes, amazing.
Yeah, and I guess there is one other mentor too, and this is part of what I do. Deb Zandela, who is the founder of the RIM method, is one of, right up there with Jack. She's the one I have probably the most experience and contact with outside of Jack, and I'm a master facilitator in the RIM method, and that is a mind-body technique that helps us dissolve self-sabotaging beliefs. So through her mentorship, I'm able to continue to address mine and help others to address theirs.
Yes, and the law of attraction works, and when we study, when we communicate with such wonderful people, and our life become better when we get better inside. So that's amazing experience.
Oh, it really, my life is just, it's not that I don't have challenges, but I'm happier, more fulfilled. I have friends around the world. My world is just expanded.
Mm-hmm.
And I see more possibility for myself than I ever dreamed possible, which is awesome. It's fun. It's exciting. It's an adventure.
Yes. And Katy, how is it to work with Jack Canfield? Because I'm going to meet him next year in 2014 personally, and I know he is very wonderful, very open, and very, very great person as you are. And what's your experience? How did you know him, and how do you communicate with him, like as you told, constantly during a year?
Well, it's interesting. When I first went to that one-day workshop, I went into that, I was searching for a new mentor, a new teacher, somebody to help me to the next level of my development. And I went to the one-day workshop specifically for the purpose of finding out if he was real, if he was authentic. And it wasn't too long. I bought a VIP ticket. I sat in the front row, and I watched him kind of cautiously for the first hour or two, and after that it was like he is authentic. What you see is what you get. He, when we're in the training room, he talks about his own challenges. He doesn't pretend that, he's got it all figured out. And I just see that every time I'm around him, he's real, and he's such a genuine, loving person.
Yes.
And that's what, he really cares, and he gives a lot. He gives a lot to anybody who goes into his room.
Yes.
So, in his training room.
Yes, that's great. And what are your favorite success principles you practice, you enjoy doing every day?
Oh, wow. Tell the truth faster is one that, I probably don't practice it as quickly as I'd like to, but I know how important it is. So it's constantly in my awareness, because I sometimes hold back a little bit just to kind of see something, figure things out and make sure I'm not just in a bad mood or whatever, which sometimes happens. But I practice the rule of 5 every day. Accountability partners, having an accountability partner in a mastermind group. E plus R equals O. Those are big ones. And cleaning up distractions, cleaning up the messes, making sure that, really, if anything is bugging me, I'll, meditate on it. And if I need to address a problem with somebody, I do it. I'm constantly looking at my environment and going, okay, what's bugging me? For instance, the other day, I had a spot on my rug. My dog peed on it. And so there was a spot, and it wasn't coming up with my other cleaning supplies. So had a break the other day. I went out to go to the sauna and whatnot, and I remembered the spot, and I thought, I'm going to take care of that distraction, because it was in my office. And so, and it made me feel so much better after cleaning. It took me, 10 minutes at the store and another 10 minutes when I got home to take care of a problem that was annoying me every day, or, several times a day when I went by it. So I think that if we can keep our environment clean, keep our minds clean by taking care of distractions and disturbances, that really, really is a great way to enhance our success.
Yes, thank you. And you told about your one of your hobby, and you're extremely good at this. It's fly fishing.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. It's really interesting. I took up fly fishing, a dozen years ago, as a sport to spend time with my second husband, and that became part of my career path. And I often wondered, what the heck is, how did I get into that? Because I became a fly fishing lodge owner on the lower Laguna Madre in deep South Texas, and then I became a guide. I was one of the only female saltwater fly fishing guides in the nation for a time. I think there were like 6 of us scattered about, and it was different. I was hanging around with a lot of guys most of the time, pushing boats around and teaching them to fish or taking them to fish. And it was in the trainer program that I received the inspiration to create a program that I call Fly Fishing at Your Edge, and that'll be launched next year. It's taking a little time to get it all put together, but I will be taking people fly fishing. We'll actually go to different places around the world, and using that as a platform for self-discovery and self-growth. And it can also be used for team building and whatnot for corporate clients. And it came out of what I discovered when I was fly fishing, that it was really a beautiful mirror for my own development. I discovered that how I approached the fish and how I approached going out on the water was really a mirror of where I was with different issues on land, different relationships, different tasks. And I wrote about that On the Mother Lagoon, Fly Fishing and the Spiritual Journey, which came out 10 years ago. So um, it's just taken me a little while to kind of go, oh, look at this. I can marry the two. So that's in process, and it's a great. I mean, people need to be in nature too, so it's a great way to have self-development, personal development, and professional development, but in a place of nature, kind of being away from our everyday distractions, where we can kind of let loose and also have a little more reflective time.
Yes. And you have a very bright, interesting life and a lot of hobbies like fly fishing, traveling, and so on. And you've mentioned goal setting process. Katy, could you please tell about your ideal day? What do you do at the morning, afternoon, and what do you prefer to do, and something like this?
Well, yeah, my typical routine is I get up very early. I'm usually awake between 5 and 5:30, and then I meditate for about 45 minutes. And I take my dog for a walk. And that walk can be anywhere between 15 and 30 minutes, depending on her mood. I like a longer walk in the morning, and then I come back and do some yoga. And I usually start my day, and then I go through my goals and affirmations, and sometimes I do a little tapping if I, EFT, if I feel like have some resistance or some stickiness to a goal, which kind of can translate into I don't quite believe that it's going to happen. I'll tap on that so that I can, and it really accelerates the process. It's something I've just recently started doing. And I usually start working with my clients early, like by 8 o'clock in the morning, and I work through till about 12 or 1, and then take a break and do, another walk, and maybe I'll go to the spa and have a sauna. I'll run. I do run 3 times a week, so that's part of my routine as well. And then I'll, work again in the afternoon. And sometimes that work is, my writing, my personal writing. Sometimes it's, coaching. Most of my clients right now are my writing coach clients, and I'm helping them write books. So not only do I have the one-on-one time with them over Skype or the phone, I have to sit with their books and edit them. So, and I am also finishing a memoir for a client whose wife died several years ago, and so he made her a promise that he would have it finished. So I'm working on that. So I spent a lot of time working with words, and then in the evening, I do my gratitude journal. That's big, and and do my affirmations again. So, and I guess the other there's a couple things. It's like, keeping my body in shape is really important to me. So I eat really well. I do have my times where I like chocolate and red wine, but for the most part, not that those are bad, but those are my 2 little vices. And but I eat really healthy. I use isogenic shakes. And I usually have those at least once a day, sometimes twice. I like juicing. And then in the evening, I have a nice protein meal with vegetables and salad, and I'll relax. I'll read and or watch a little TV. I'm not a big TV watcher, but if there's something interesting, I'll use that to disengage a little bit, relax. And then, of course, I have family and friends to keep up with, so some visiting in there.
Yes, great. And you are a former professor of English and academic advisor at the university. And please tell me about your, like, you've designed materials for your first year writing courses. It's discovering your mission in life. What is it, Katy? And maybe you can say something in a couple of sentences. How from what to do, like what to start from to find person's own mission in life, in business, and so on.
Well, I was really lucky to be teaching at a university where my, supervisors let me create my own curriculum.
Uh-huh.
And I had just finished reading David White's Crossing the Unknown Sea, Work as a Pilgrimage of Identity. And also was working with success principles. So I used both. I've created, instead of, having my students read just any essays and whatnot, I used the David White's book as my textbook, along with, and I supplemented that with the work from the success principles, exercises from the success principles. And really what I got my students to think about was what were they excited about doing. Most of them were migrant workers and, spent a lot of time in the fields, picking vegetables and whatnot with their families. And most of them were also first generation college students, and many of their family didn't even have high school education. So their idea of a good job was anything, that got them out of the fields, got them in some air conditioning and made them, more money. But they really weren't thinking about what their own personal skills and talents. So I think that's the first step, is what excites you. If somebody's not good at math, they're not going to be happy as an accountant. And if somebody really wants to be an engineer, but, is told that they need to be a doctor, they're not going to be happy either. So I really got them to think about that and reflect on, their personal skills and talents and also find mentors. I had them look for mentors in those fields. And I think that's important too, getting, having a discussion with somebody who does what you want to do.
Yeah.
And it was probably one of the most rewarding times of my life to be able to sit in that classroom, especially at the end of the semester when they had to do oral presentations and prove, kind of show me what they had learned about where their attitude about work was when they came into my classroom and where it was when they left. It was really, really inspiring. I would sit in the back of the room, and luckily it was dark because I was teared up. And to this day, I still have several of my students who reach out to me, ask me questions, and so that group of people.
Yeah. Katy, and recently I've listened again one more time 21st century edition Napoleon Hill Think and Grow Rich. And you told about mastermind group, you're brainstorming with other people. Who are there? Who are in your circle? Are they just business person and consultants, authors as you are, or they are from different areas and they are professionals in other fields?
One of my groups, most of them, just trying to go through my list. Yeah, most of them are coaches and trainers like me and authors. So and they're women, all women. So we, it's a different dynamic, and we really are supporting each other to be as successful and as focused as we possibly can. And there's something about just having an all-women group that is really important and exciting. And not that has to be that way. And then I'm in another group that is a mix of men and women with different backgrounds. One of the people's in one of them is in real estate. Another one's in internet marketing. I think another one is a coach. So there's a wide variety, and I think that's equally important too, because when we have people outside of our industry listen to us, they'll give us a different perspective. So that is important.
Yes, absolutely right. And you are achieving great results and communicate with other successful people. What's your opinion, Katy? What's the difference between happy, financial free people from others, like 95, 97%. What's the difference in just thinking and doing and actions, or what do you think about this?
It would be great if we could just magically manifest things by thinking about it, but it doesn't work that way.
Uh-huh.
We have to be in action.
Yes.
It's practice. And Jack says the principles work if you work the principles, and they do. And I hate to admit this, but for a time earlier this year, I was like, I wasn't reading my goals, I wasn't doing my affirmations, and I saw a difference. My client base dipped, and I was watching my bank account dip, and I'm going, what's going on here? And then I went, oh, silly, you're not practicing. And as soon as I got back into doing my daily disciplines, and really amping it up and being super disciplined, everything turned around. And so we really do have to put things into action. And that means making the phone calls. That means, creating new programs and sitting down and writing our books. A lot of, especially, when we want to write, that's probably the last thing in the world most people want to do, even though they know that, if they set a goal for writing a book, it's not going to get written by themselves. But, it is about sitting down and doing whatever it takes. And, being willing to make the sacrifices of, maybe not getting some sleep sometimes, even though I know that that's absolutely important. But I often work in the evenings, so I'm not, going out, and I'm single, so I limit my going out time to the weekends, and that can have ramifications as well. But, it's a choice I make, because I want to make sure that I achieve what I feel like is calling me to be achieved. It's not even, it's a real calling. It's like, I feel like I am here to help people get their messages out in the world, and also to help people become empowered and be willing to make changes in their lives. And that brings me a lot of joy. And I have to make, in order to reach my audience, I do have some choices every day about, is this a choice that's going to help me reach my goal, or is it going to detract me from my goal?
Great.
And I'm not, and I'm not perfect at it, but I think I'm probably, in the 90th percentile of being willing to make those choices and sacrifices to do to achieve my goals.
Yes. And what I've learned is, like, studying psychology of achievement and success, that successful people think about what they want and how to get this, and unsuccessful, unfortunately, doesn't know what, and criticize others and blame others, and they focus on what they don't want, and the law of attraction works every time, and what they attract. So we become what we think about most of the time, and your words, it's that's perfect, tells us about this.
Yeah, and and as I've said, I've had my own struggles, and there was a period of time where I did blame people. I blamed,
Yeah.
husbands for and parents and whatnot, and I really learned that, they were doing the best they could too. And real change came when I was willing to take responsibility and really decide what I wanted in my life.
Yes.
And be willing to make the choices and, really difficult decisions at times to reach those. And as you were speaking there, I was reminded of another principle that I use and I advocate, and that's lean into it. Change doesn't have to be like jumping off a cliff. It's taking small steps and moving through. It could be picking up the phone. It could be eliminating wheat from your diet. Whatever it is, depending on what you want to achieve. It doesn't have to be drastic, and dramatic and scary, and everything changes all at once. I would even say that any change in my life that I wanted to make has come about by just taking those small steps, by leaning into it.
Yes, that's great. Great.
And visualizing what I want. You mentioned that too, and that is part of my daily discipline. And when I'm running, or if I'm at the end of my meditation, I will visualize my goals. And sometimes it's just a picture, like of a new place that I want to live, and I'll have the view and all that, and just kind of anchor that, kind of a quick snapshot, and that helps. So it's nothing that we do takes an awful lot of time. Those disciplines, they can be done pretty easily.
And I like your thoughts about actions, that you didn't forget taking action. Every single day you made little or big step to your vision, to your ideal life, ideal business, and that's what's great about this. And you're
yeah, and I have made some big changes. I moved from South Texas to San Diego almost 3 years ago. But that didn't happen just by overnight, and it didn't happen when I was already living this. I was still teaching. I was living in South Texas. But every day I took steps to make sure I was getting to the place I wanted to be. And even as my business grows and my vision is growing for it, I have different kind of streams of income that I'm working on, and I take steps every day to get take one step every day toward one of those, or toward each of those, and that's how it happens. It's just like one step at a time.
And I don't remember who said that, but he told that my overnight success took me 20 years. And some people some people think that successful rich people are just lucky, but they work hard, they do some steps that works, and success is predictable, and like it's steps, it's rules, it's principles that works. And when we see some people like on the street and we don't want to be like them, just we can learn from them as well, and don't do what they do most of the time, and do what other successful people do, and we can have the same results as successful people have.
Right. And as you're speaking about that, it reminds me of the Jim Rohn quote, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with.
Absolutely.
And I'm really careful about who I spend my time with. And an exercise that Jack had us go through, in the training room, was like put a plus or a minus next to the people that are in your life. And when I first started working with him, there were a lot of minuses. There are a lot of minuses, and right now I don't have any minuses, with the people that I spend time with.
Yes.
And that's really, really, really important. I think that's because
Absolutely.
those people who, and it's like we do have family members. We chose, they're part of the family, but we don't have to spend a lot of time with them if they're negative, and if they bring us down. It's not like we have to totally, eliminate people from our lives, but we can limit the time that we spend with them.
Yes.
And we can also choose to spend most of our time with people that we enjoy being with and who inspire us.
Absolutely. And I like awards from Ralph Waldo Emerson, and your wise words the same, that he told that everyone we met are in something better than we are, and we can learn from them. And when we can see people, we can just communicate, help, share our own wisdom, and maybe they are better in some character skills and something like this.
Yeah, yeah, and that and this is part of also my daily discipline, and I guess I have a lot of them when I stop to think about them. But every morning I ask that my day be divinely choreographed, and that I'm available for anyone who needs me, including myself. And I also use a little mantra called I'm willing to show up, be present, and enjoy the ride. And I have magical encounters with people, and that could be the homeless people on the street, who walk by my house with their bags collecting bottles, and I go out and give them the bottles that need to be recycled. Or it could be the person in the grocery store. It always seems to be there's a giving and a receiving in those encounters. Like, I'm able to give them a little something, but I also receive from them too. So we do learn from everyone we encounter during the day, if we're open to it.
Yes.
If we're not kind of lost in our own little world and have our blinders on. So I think that, and that's part of the adventure.
Absolutely. And Kathy, yesterday I had a meeting with Brian Tracy. He's in Moscow right now, and tomorrow he has a seminar about sales for entrepreneurs, and I like his philosophy as well, like Jack Canfield's, and I started to learn the success like from Brian Tracy, probably his book Maximum Achievement. And what's your favorite books? And you told about Success Principle. It's my favorite book as well. And maybe you can say about some others that change your thinking, your behavior, your maybe reaction on the world.
Oh wow! Yeah, I have a list, and I'm looking at my bookshelf now. I would say to probably any of Jack's books, or, Power of Focus, that all of them have been really helpful. I'm also reading right now, or actually just finished reading, Brene Brown's The Gift of Imperfection.
Oh, okay.
And The Gifts of Imperfection. That's been really helpful too, because it helps us to, most of us who are on a success path kind of beat ourselves up from time to time.
Yeah. Okay.
There are so many books. I'm looking at my bookshelf again.
Yeah, that maybe you can say something like a couple of them.
But I read so much that just one particular book, I'm at a loss right now.
Yeah, I can see your library behind you.
Yeah, it's like I'm reading because I also read about the power of story and and women's psychology and whatnot too. So one of my other favorite authors is Linda Shears Leonard, and David White. I love David White's work. The Crossing the Unknown Sea, Work as a Pilgrimage of Identity, and there's one more. I can grab that real quick. The Three Marriages, Reimagining Work, Self, and Relationship. Love that book.
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
Yeah, all of the success authors I've read at one time or another, so yeah.
Kathy, do you have something to say and recommend your ideas, your maybe some words, inspirational words, to those who want to succeed in life and maybe doesn't want from what to start from and what to do, and maybe who are getting some results and what to do next?
Wow. Yeah. I love the success principles. I live and eat and breathe them. And I believe that they're really, really important. So I would say, first off, go buy that book. And from there, you'll be able to, Jack, recommends other authors. So, I mean, I give that away when I'm speaking. I recommend it. I sell it on my website, so there's, that is, to me, is the absolute Bible for success.
Mm-hmm.
Surround yourself with positive people.
Yes.
Find a mentor.
Mm-hmm.
And willing to face those parts of yourself that need to be changed, healed, and that's sometimes scary. But that is absolutely necessary, because unless we do the internal work, the inner work, on our beliefs, on our old wounds, we'll just keep creating the same circumstances. So that is really important. And know too that as we go about our changes, the people around us who are not, subscribing to the same philosophies, if they're not working on, creating new success in their lives, there will be some disconnect. You'll have some resistance from them, and those are little roadblocks. Those are little hurdles that we have to get over, and just know that they're going to show up. To address it, with compassion. A lot of the people in our lives are just basically afraid when we start changing. And so they'll act out, give us a hard time. So just know that it's going to happen, and that it doesn't mean that a relationship may end. It just needs to be renegotiated. So, and I think, have passion with yourself.
Yes.
Not every day is going to be perfect. Not every day will you get through your rule of 5. Things happen. But it's always a matter of just being committed to yourself and to your goals.
Yes.
So,
wow,
I could say more, but those are probably
absolutely,
the top.
Kathy, yes, your inspirational, your wisdom, it's priceless. And I know you will have another call soon, and I just want to thank you, and I'm very grateful to have this conversation with you, Kathy. You're very wise, very great person I've met, and thank you for your time for this interview, and it was really great pleasure to talk with you, right? Thank you very much.
Oh, well, thank you, Pavel. It's my pleasure. I'm glad you reached out to me, and it's been a great way to start my day.
Thank you, Katya. I wish you abundant, bright day and very productive, and I hope to see you personally next year, maybe.
Great, that would be awesome.
Yes, and all the best, Katya. Just let me know if I can assist or support and help you in anything. Just let me know. We are in Facebook, and you have my contacts, everything. So
right. Well, likewise.
Thank you very much, Kathy.
Okay, thank you. Take care now.
Okay, talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.